أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين أتم الأنبياء محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه. Glory be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the God of the universe. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to spare our life till this month of Ramadan that we find ourselves. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Before I will start this program, I would like to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to thank our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If not because of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there wouldn't be anything to be called Islam. There wouldn't be anything that would be called Al-Quran. Alhamdulillah for that. Assalamu alaikum once again, my respected Muslim brothers and sisters in Islam and all the entire Muslim community in South Africa and in every part of the universe. I send my greetings to you all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the reward of this fasting and accept all our supplication. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. My prayers also goes to all my leaders in Islam in Nigeria. When we talk of Babalagbaji, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be with him. Babalamunigun Sheik Abdul Salam Ahmad and Babalatagba Sheik Abdul Rashid Abdul Salam Onikunkil. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be with them. My prayer also goes to Baba Oriari, Al-Hajj, Al-Fadilat, Sheik Ahmed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be with him. And I'm also my own Imam, my own mentor, Al-Hajj Abdul Salam Babatunde, one of the glory of Amonego. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be with him. The topic given to me today to treat in this month of Ramadan, today is Friday. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our today's Jumat. My name is Al-Hajj Al-Fadilat Sheik Ojuade Kazeem, the founder of Salama Muslim Association of South Africa. The topic given to me today is all about the benefit of fasting in the month of Ramadan. But before I go to the topic of today, before we talk about the so-called Ramadan, we must know that Ramadan is one of the pillars of Islam. Because when we talk about the 5 pillars of Islam, there is no way we will not talk about the Psalm. What is that Psalm? That is Ramadan. The first pillar of Islam is Shahada, that is a profession of faith. And the second pillars of Islam is Salat, or let me just put in this way, prayer, that is to perform in a prescribed manner 5 times each day. And the third pillar of Islam is Zakat, that is the alms tax levy to benefit the poor and the needs, that is alms giving. And the fourth pillar of Islam that I'm going to talk about today is a Saum, that is fasting during the month of Ramadan, while the last pillar of Islam is Hajj, that is the major pilgrimage to Mecca if one is financially and physically conditions is permitted. Alhamdulillah. My greetings also goes to the African Porter Radio and Television Station located in Water Clothing in South Africa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to elongate the entertainment and the art industry and will not destroy by any calamity of destruction. Insha'Allah Rahman. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran that was given to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Surah Al-Baqarah, Quran 2 and verse 183. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyam kama kutiba alal ladina min qablikum la'alakum tantakuna. Sadaqallahu mawlana azim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling all the believers that we are to observe the fasting when the month of Ramadan arrive or have started, and observing as Salmon, that is the fasting, is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, that you may become al-muntakun, that is the pious, to become a pious one. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. That is the ayah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving us to back all the Muslim brothers and sisters in every part of the world to put ourselves when we find ourselves in the month of Ramadan, that we should fast in the month of Ramadan. As we all know, what is the Ramadan? If we are to describe what the Ramadan is all about, we will see that Ramadan is ninth and the holiest month in the Islamic calendar. That is, we Muslims, we fast and abstain from pleasures and pray during Ramadan and to draw closer to God. It's also a time for families to get together and enjoy the blessing of Allah. We Muslims, we fast from the following day after the crescent moon appeared in the sky. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. My dear Muslim brothers and sisters, we are all, I think the Ramadan is 8 today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our Ramadan, accept all our ibadah, accept all our supplication, accept everything that we are engaging ourselves and our deed in this month of Ramadan. As we all know, and many might not know, and we just have to enlighten ourselves and to educate ourselves concerning the benefit of Ramadan. When we are talking about the benefit of Ramadan, we have many benefits that we can derive from fasting in the month of Ramadan. We are having what we call as health benefit when fasting in the month of Ramadan. We are having what is called a spiritual benefit in the month of Ramadan. We are having what we call scientific benefit of fasting in Ramadan. And lastly, we are having the psychological benefit when fasting in the month of Ramadan. Inshallah, Aziz, if the time is permitted me to explain everything, I will do that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our Ramadan. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. وَأَعْلَمَا كَمَا لَمْ تَكُنْ تَعْلَمُ فَكَانَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكَ عَظِيمًا وَلَا تَعْجَلْ بِالْقُرْآنِ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يُقْضَى إِلَيْكَ وَحْيُهُ وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear Muslim brothers and sisters, let us have a seat with our Imam, Fadilat Sheik Ojuade Kazeem from South Africa, passing the message to us as far as the Ramadan is concerned, and what are the benefits of fasting in the Ramadan. Firstly, I am going to explain on the health benefit of fasting in the month of Ramadan. Number one, if you are fasting in the month of Ramadan, number one is that protection from obesity and the chronic disease. When we are fasting in the month of Ramadan, when you are fasting Ramadan, we are going to be protected from obesity and the chronic disease. That is, fasting through Ramadan may assist in preventing obesity and the other chronic disease, such as diabetes. And also, it enhances the levels of protein, providing in insulin resistance. It also offers protection against the hazard of a fat and sugar-rich diets. That is number one. And number two, health benefit of fasting in Ramadan is that it's lowering cholesterol and improving blood sugar level. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Dhul Jalali wal Ikram. Ramadan fasting stimulates the lipid profile. It lowers blood cholesterol and consequently it prevents heart attack. Allahu Akbar. When we are fasting Ramadan, we can just imagine it prevents heart attack, it prevents a stroke and other disorder. Dhul Jalali wal Ikrami. And then lastly, about the health benefit of fasting in Ramadan is that it improves digestive system. Allahu Akbar. By observing Ramadan and fasting positively, when observing Ramadan and fasting positively impacts one lifestyle and digestive system. A human body naturally detoxify after a month of flushing out of the toxin in the body. It also balances the heat generation and the acidity level in the human stomach. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. These three factors is to be considered as the health benefit of fasting in the month of Ramadan. Once again, number one, protection from obesity and chronic disease, and number two, lowering cholesterol and improving blood sugar level, and number three, it improve digestive system. My dear Muslim brother and sister, can we see that fasting in the month of Ramadan have a great impact in the body of every human being or mankind that fast in this month of Ramadan? So number two of the important benefits in this month of Ramadan is that the spiritual benefit of Ramadan fasting. Allahu Akbar. That is number two topic that I'm going to treat. For us to know the spiritual benefit of Ramadan fasting. Number one is that it increased taqwa. What is the taqwa? That is fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Taqwa is an Islamic phrase that refers to being aware of Allah and truth and piety and the dread of God. Allahu Akbar. The term frequently appears in the holy book of the Quran. It bears the deep sense of being cautioned over one's own life and their actions, as the angels are constantly on the watch. Allahu Akbar. You see, one of the spiritual benefits of fasting in the month of Ramadan is that it increases taqwa. Taqwa means to fear Allah. And at the same time, the way we are going to be more closer to Allah, to our Creator, is going to be higher compared to the time that we are not fasting in the month of Ramadan. That is not the month of Ramadan. And number two is that fetches greater rewards. Allahu Akbar. All able Muslims are required to fast during Ramadan. It is said that Allah repays the fasting Muslim with a great reward and blessings. Each hour of fasting brings people closer to meeting Allah in the next life. Allahu Akbar Kabira. Can we imagine this particular point? Fetches greater rewards. That is, we are going to have the reward in the month of Ramadan, and at the same time, we are going to have the reward in the day of Qiyamah, in the day of judgment, in the day of proper accountability. And number three, spiritual benefit of Ramadan is that leads to paradise and prevents hellfire. Dhul Jalali wal Ikrami. Only those who fast during Ramadan will be allowed to enter paradise through the Ar-Rayyan gate on the day of resurrection. As we all know that we are having 8 different entrance, 8 different gates to the paradise. But there are going to be, when we are talking about Ar-Rayyan, Ar-Rayyan is a gate that whoever that is fasting in the month of Ramadan will be allowed and will be eligible to enter through the gate of Ar-Rayyan in the day of resurrection. Zulli Jalali wal Ikram. And another benefit in the month of Ramadan is also the scientific benefit of fasting Ramadan. We also have a scientific benefit of fasting in the month of Ramadan. Now, number one scientific benefit of fasting in the month of Ramadan is that fasting throughout the holy month of Ramadan improves mental health by lowering depression, anxiety, and the stress level. Allahu Akbar. Maybe you are undergo depression, you are undergo an anxiety, you are undergo stress one way or the other. You are having stress where you are working, you are having stress among your neighbors, you are having stress within your family. You see, but when fasting will improve your mentality. Fasting will improve your mental health, and it's going to lower your level of your depression and the anxiety and your stress. Allahu Akbar Kabira. Number two scientific benefit of fasting in Ramadan is that prevents cancer. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Dhulli Jalali wal Ikram. You see, many research has been released in the last few years suggesting that Ramadan fasting can lower health risk factors. It can also reverse the symptoms of severe health illness such as cancer, and also balance nutrition intake and increase generation of tumor killing cells. Allahu Akbar Kabira. My dear Muslim brother and sister, when we look around the globe, when we look around the world, we will see the level at which many people are getting sick as a result of cancer disease. But according to the research carried by the so-called scientists, it has been discovered that when you fast in the month of Ramadan, it will lower your health risk factor. It can also reverse the symptom of severe health illness, such as cancer. Allahu Akbar. Can we now see that when we fast Ramadan, it has a great benefit? That's the reason why I am trying to analyze it one after the other. For those of us that are fasting in this month of Ramadan, we will definitely know the benefit of that fasting in the month of Ramadan. And the thirdly, scientific benefit of fasting in the month of Ramadan is that it assists in Alzheimer. That is, fasting in the month of Ramadan is a therapy. It's a therapy option that is rapidly gaining traction outside of the domain of the pharmaceutical and treatments. Ramadan fasting commonly promoted as a weight loss approach. Allahu Akbar Kabira. My dear Muslim brothers and sisters, can we now see the scientific benefit of fasting in the month of Ramadan? Already, I have made mention of the spiritual benefit in the month of Ramadan, and also the health benefit in the month of Ramadan. Allahu Akbar, Dhulli Jalali wali Ikram. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at this point accept all our ibadah, accept all our intention, accept our Ramadan. My dear Muslim brother and sister, we need to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The reason why I'm saying we need to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because it's the one that deserves to be glorified, as we all know. If not, when we fast from 12 calendar months, we are fasting only in the month of Ramadan. Can we see the great opportunity? Can we see the great benefit when we fast in the month of Ramadan? Allahu Akbar. You see, and when we look at it critically, millions of the Muslims worldwide fast from sunrise to sunset in the holy month of Ramadan. Although fasting may be challenging and uncomfortable at times, you see, but the benefits are numerous. Hence, fasting in the Ramadan is not just obligatory, but also provide health and psychological benefits, as I have mentioned earlier. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His infinite mercy, accept our what? Our Ramadan, accept all our zakah. Now, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, most of our brothers and sisters, after my brothers, my sisters, all our friends in Islam, will be getting themselves prepared for Hajj in this coming Hajj. You know, after the Ramadan, the next thing is his Hajj. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provide for everybody that is interested to visit the home of Allah. And lastly, I will also discuss about that's reminding me of the psychological benefit of fasting in the Ramadan. Don't you know there is a psychological benefit? I have mentioned of the spiritual benefit. I've mentioned of the health benefit. Imagine, and there is also a psychological benefit of fasting in the Ramadan. Allahu Akbar. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-azim. Mansha'Allah la quwwata illa billahi al-azim. Alhamdulillah for being a Muslim. Alhamdulillah, I'm always thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when I see that I'm a Muslim. Because being a Muslim, it will make you to understand what the life is all about. It will make you to see that Jannah is more better than this dunya. That is, the day of the Qiyamah is more better than this world, which is dunya. So let me just go straight to there because I don't want to take much of our time. Let me just go to the psychological benefit of fasting in Ramadan. Number one, psychological benefit of fasting in Ramadan is that enhances willpower. Allahu Akbar. That is, fasting during Ramadan requires a mental fortitude and the willingness for go immediate enjoyment for accomplishing long-term goals. Fasting for a whole month induces a sense of happiness, sense of focus, and a sense of self-control. This attribute can be utilized in various ways or sector of life. Allahu Akbar. You imagine psychological benefit of fasting in Ramadan. Enhances willpower. And number two, psychological benefit of fasting in Ramadan is that increases alertness. It increases alertness. That is, individual who fast appear to have a higher level of vigilance and attention. Food is converted into glucose by the human body, and too much of it causes sluggishness and tiredness. Therefore, it enhances alertness and a better mood. Are the psychological benefits of Ramadan fasting. Allahu Akbar. My dear Muslim brothers and sisters, it's good to be a Muslim. It's good to be a believer. It's good to be a Muslim at the same time, because it's only when you are a Muslim and you study the word of Allah very well, that is the Quran, and you study the hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is no way you will not be closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The more you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more you'll be knowledgeable about what the life is all about. The more you'll be knowledgeable about the so-called Ramadan. Because that, as I've said earlier, Ramadan is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. And I'm only treating the 4th pillar of Islam, which is Ramadan. Allahu Akbar Kabira. Allahu Akbar. Okay, we are talking about Ramadan. What are the benefits of Ramadan? That is what I have been explaining for the past 23 to 24 minutes ago. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase our health. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us his shifahum, grant us his healing, grant us his long life and the prosperity, so that we can be able to do this Ramadan for many years, to practice the Ramadan for years before we leave this, before we depart from this dunya. And thirdly, when we talk about the psychological benefit of fasting in the month of Ramadan, then we'll be talking about the uplift the mood. Uplift the mood. That is, Muslim experience an enhanced sense of achievement, reward, pride, and the control after hours of fasting. Fasting can boost self-esteem and the sense of accomplishment. Allahu Akbar Kabira. You see, my dear Muslim brothers and sisters, once again, we can see all the benefits of fasting in the month of Ramadan. The psychological benefit, I mean, you see, uplift the mood. That is, Muslim experience an enhanced sense of achievement. When you are fasting in the when you are fasting the Ramadan, you will experience an enhanced sense of achievement and the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And pride, you have the pride that I'm a Muslim and I fast in the month of Ramadan. And the control after hours of fasting. You see, fasting can boost self-esteem and sense of accomplishment. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. And at this very point, I will call it a day, but I am employing all Muslim brothers and sisters in South Africa and every part of the world, and from Nigeria, where I come from, to keep on watching the African Portal Radio Television Arts and Entertainment in South Africa. They were there for us for any kind of programs, Islamic program, Christianity program, and some other entertainment. They are there for us in South Africa, and I dare pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to be with this particular radio station, African Portal Radio Television Station of South Africa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to be with their company, continue to be with their workers, and continue to elongate them in any area of their need. Alhamdulillah, Ramadan is today is 8th of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the reward of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us in this month of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to be with us in whatever that we lay our hand upon in this month of Ramadan and after the month of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use this Ramadan for us to serve as a rahmah from you, to serve as a blessing from you, to serve as a forgiveness, because you have already promised us in the Quran that Allahu Ghafurur Rahim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is oft forgiven, and after forgiven, you promise that you are going to bless us. And I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this, as we Muslim in every part of the world, as we are fasting in this month of Ramadan, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us his blessing and be with all the Muslim community and the Muslim family in the world and non-Muslim. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help all the Muslim nation that were facing one problem or the other, that were facing war one way or the other. Subhanallah rabbika, ba'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, ar-rahmanir rahim, maliki yawmiddin, iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, ihdina siratal mustaqim, siratal ladina an'amta alayhim, ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladhdallin. Amin. On each every Friday in this month of Ramadan, I would like all my Muslim brothers and sisters, all my father, all my mother, and non-Muslim to join me on 4 o'clock p.m. South African time in South Africa for a Ramadan lecture on each every Friday. And in UK, that is 3 p.m. and in Nigeria is 3 p.m. Time in Nigeria. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be with us and grant us the reward of Ramadan. Ba'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Law anzalna wa hadha al-Qur'ana ala jabal la rita wa shiya mutasawdiya min ashiati Allah wa tilka al-amzali nadribuha lin-nas la'allahum yatafakkarun. Huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illa huwa الملك القدوس السلام على المؤمن المؤمن على العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون إنه من سليمان وإنه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين إلا كلا سلاما سلاما إلا كلا سلاما سلاما إلا كلا سلاما سلاما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.